All right, guys. I think I'm live. And again, I don't have a ton of experience with this stuff. So hopefully people are going to be joining at some point. So we'll see. I figured I'd do a live stream for those that are interested, and we can open it up to general topics, all things gear related. So let's just see if people are able to find this. I know I had another stream that I think was open, but I couldn't get into it. so I opened this. So let's just see what happens here. And that's my AI moving around, as you can see on the camera. Let's give it a couple of minutes. I'll be right back, guys. I'm just going to check something else. Okay. It says I'm live. And there is a delay. All right. Both streams going. I'm going to kill one. All right. I'm going to kill this one. We'll keep this one open and see if anybody joins. And so far, we're going for a couple of minutes here. I don't see anybody in the chat. Let's see. If anybody's here or hears me or sees me, let's do it this way. Just throw a comment in the chat and let me know if the video and the audio are working. Okay, it says I'm live. Gotcha. Thanks, Dan. Best offer I've gotten in all of history. Oh, that's great. I'm here. Hey, so I'm going to say hello to Stan. I'm going to say hello to Jorg, if I've got your name pronounced correctly. I hope I'm not butchering it. Father to Goldotter 1. Hey, Terry, how you doing? Ramen noodles, it's working. Good to know. Beautiful. So at least I didn't fail the IQ test first time around. So, or you guys are a hell of a lot smarter than me, and we're able to get here. So the stupid AI thing keeps shifting on my webcam, as you can see. I'm going to have to figure out how to turn that thing off. But, okay, guys, thanks for joining. Hopefully you all had a good week. This is a live show. I'm going to try to experiment and do more of these if it makes sense. You're telling me, EJ, I should check out some of the higher-end Cort guitars. You've got the G280 and G290 Super Strats. Great. Yeah, no, I agree. I've had Corts, by the way. I don't have a ton of reviews on the channel, but yeah, I've had a bunch of Cort Strat style guitars. I think they make fantastic guitars, as you probably well know, EJ, that, you know, Cort and Samick make the majority of other brand guitars out there, right? Their factories pretty much make guitars for everybody. Squier, Ibanez, Fender, you name it. So yeah, I agree with you. I think they're diamonds in the rough. So what are we talking about? So guys, any football fans here? Start off with that. Playoffs have been interesting. Yesterday was a great day. Two good games. The Texan game was a really good game. I think they were kind of favored. Actually, the Ravens were favored, but the Texans put up a decent fight. And then the 49er game at night and Packer game was a great game for those of you that are football fans, at least. And I was kind of rooting for the Packers. I always root for the underdogs, but the 49ers came back in the second half, and that was an interesting game. Today we've got some good ones. Bucks-Lions. I think that should be an entertaining game. Lions have come out of nowhere and haven't really won much over their illustrious history, so we'll see what happens with that game. And the Chiefs-Bills are always a great matchup. You got Mahomes, you got Josh Allen, two of the best gunslingers in the league, going after the game. So we'll see. That'll be a good one. Hey, Rob, thanks for joining. Hope you're doing well. So today's good football. We'll see what happens. Guys, what else is going on from a topical standpoint? NAMM, I guess that's the big North American music something or other, right? The big Gear Fest that takes place every year out in Anaheim Convention Center. The 2024 NAMM, I believe, is starting on the 25th of January through the 28th. So it'll be this week, and that should be interesting. Hey, Sean, great to hear from you. Thank you for joining the web stream. Yeah, all the regulars are here, it looks like. Thanks so much. The cold is a hot topic here, Mid-Atlantic South, Rob. Yeah, no, I think you guys had some chillier temperatures than the New York, New Jersey area there for a while, which is crazy. So yeah, the Southeast, Mid-Atlantic have been hit with a cold front of recent times, and yeah, you guys are really putting up with some crazy cold temperatures. Hopefully it's not killing whatever you guys have growing there in your neck of the woods. But back to NAMM. So NAMM is always interesting, right? It's a gear fest of sorts. They have exhibitors all from all over the place and all types of gear, whether it's guitars, basses, keyboards, microphones, you name it, showing their wares. A bunch of prominent YouTubers always attend, and they have a ton of content that's generated from their participation in NAMM. Some known, most not so known or famous artists are out there performing live, demoing gear. So it's an interesting event. A lot of people attend. COVID put the brakes on it for a while, for a couple of years. But I think a lot of the YouTubers are back to attending again this year, and we'll see what comes out of NAMM. JP, thanks for joining. Saw an online distributor selling guitars at too good to be prices. Mentioned it 2 days ago, but it dropped off the chat. Wow. Wonder what happened. Wanted to know if you ever dealt with them. So JP, who are we talking about? An online distributor selling guitars at too good to be prices. I don't think I saw the chat stream. Not sure what happened to it. Pro Audio Star, Rob. I'm waiting to see what JP says. Justice Tour Best Buy. I'm not sure what that is, so I really can't comment, unfortunately. Don't know what that is. But Pro Audio Star, Rob, that you brought them up. They're an interesting one. So Sean says, let me just see here. I need to go to NAMM someday. I've been to the Seattle Tacoma Guitar Show. Right. A lot of fun, but a smaller venue. Yep. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're talking about Pro Audio Star. Let me focus, right, and get back to one thing at a time here. So, Pro Audio Star, interesting distributor, music supplier, online vendor, whatever you want to call them. I've got a love-hate relationship with them. I think they have some of the best prices around. They really do. And if you're lucky, and you order one of their open box or what they call used items, in a lot of cases, you're going to get something that is brand new for an extremely ridiculous price. And that's the positive aspect of them. They have a decent inventory, which is also a great thing. They ship extremely fast, and they ship well most of the time in terms of how they box their instruments and how they come to you. Now, the only negative that I really have is sometimes you won't get a pristine guitar, right? It happens with everybody. Where although you think you're getting a new guitar, a new item, uh, or hoping you're going to get something that's hasn't been described as having any issues, occasionally you'll have something, maybe something that's not 100% up to snuff or whatever. Um, Contacting them at times can be a challenge because, hey, look, they're not as big as Guitar Center or Musician's Friend or Sam Ash or some of these other, Amazon or some of these huge online retailers, and it can become a bit of a challenge getting them live. Unfortunately, uh, their chat is not up most of the time, so you're reliant upon a phone call or email as the main means of communication. And sometimes during a busy sale, they are not as accessible over the phone. And you're reliant, again, solely on email. So the communication aspect of it, because they are a smaller company, they're not as accessible at times as some of the other companies are. But again, price wise, um, you're going to be able to get a very, very good deal uh, on a used or an open box item that could very well be a new guitar. So that's an interesting situation there with them. Um, I'm just going to go down some of these comments. Uh, hey Stan, welcome. Have you reviewed West Creek SGs? No, I've reviewed a couple of West Creek models, semi-hollow based models. I have, and also the P90 Les Paul style guitar, but Les Paul custom or junior Les Paul, whatever. I have not reviewed the West Creek SG. You bought a Bumblebee for 190 with a third. Oh, my fingers are crossed. Okay, so my comments are with West Creek. Rounded frets, right? They have the rounded fret ends on their guitars. The finishing is usually pristine in terms of the body finishing on the guitars. The fretboards are usually very good, from my experience, at least with the few that I've had. They're not dry. The frets almost look polished at times. The stock tuners are okay on the guitars. The pickups are okay. I wouldn't say they're exceptional pickups at least on the ones that I've had, but they weren't microphonic. They didn't appear to be Alnico. They appear to be more ceramic in nature, more high output, bright, very bright in terms of sound. But again, that was my experience. You might get something that's completely different. But yeah, I have, in terms of being a budget vendor, they pack their instruments well in terms of the box that they come in. Very, very well packaged. Typically, when you order West Creek, at least, again, my experience has been through Amazon, so you're going to have a great return policy. And the $30 off coupon on a $190 guitar is not too shabby, right? So hopefully you'll have a good experience, Stan. Again, the two West Creeks I bought were fine from a quality control standpoint, and in terms of value, bang for the buck, I thought they were very good guitars. Rob, your inventions with PAS are too much to detail here. Suffice to say, I probably won't buy from them again. Yeah, I don't want to say, I don't like saying negative things if I don't have to, but I know exactly where you're going with that, and I can't I can't argue it. The bad thing about them again is accessibility, and you can read into that any way you want. If you have a problem, it might be a bit of a challenge. That's all I can say. What I do recommend is when you're buying through Pro Audio Star is to order via Reverb or eBay if you can, rather than direct, because you have eBay and Reverb's return policy to work with if need be. And also order through, place an order through PayPal, so that, you also have PayPal behind you as well, rather than you against the world type of thing when you're trying to do something. But yeah, Rob, I understand exactly what you're saying there. That's a discussion for another day. Alan, thanks for joining. Have you noticed that pickups on some guitars are spaced further apart than others? For instance, the Ibanez A55, AF55, and AF75. Yeah, pickups are half-inch further apart on the 55. Just wonder why. Again, I'm not a luthier, and I'm the furthest thing from one. But the only thing I could think of with the spacing could potentially be from a tonal standpoint on the guitar. It might be deliberate, or it might just be something from a real estate standpoint on the way that guitar is designed, and that's the best, the best ideas that these designers came up with from locating the pickups on that particular model. The AF55s and AF75s are the Ibanez ES335 style guitars, right? And the semi-hollows, I believe. So yeah, again, I don't have the exact answer as to why that's the case. Maybe someone here on the forum might know. Rob, you know that West Creek has two versions of their semi-hollow. Yes, I've seen that. A couple of them have wood stains. A couple of them are solid paint. I'm not sure what the differences are, Rob. If you know, if there are any specific differences between the two versions, is one better than the other? I've only had the wood stained versions of the semi-hollow. I didn't have the solid paint version. Thanks for going live. What are your thoughts? This is John Lance. Thanks for joining on the Plus Top. So far, so good, John, on the Plus Top. I've only had it a short time, but it's a beautiful Plus Top from a wood grain standpoint. The maple cap that they have on the guitar, Fender put on it. It's not a thick cap. It's a very thin maple cap. It's an older body. But so far, so good in terms of the pickups, the feel of the neck. Now, the Player Plus, I'm a fan of thinner necks, and again, the density of the neck is a very personal thing when you're playing, right? Everybody's got different opinions. Some people love chunky, thicker necks. Others like Ibanez necks. Other like in between, a thin neck, a thin C, but not quite the wizard thinness that you get with the Ibanez's. I'm not an Ibanez thin fan, that flat or thin. I like kind of a thin C is my preference. The Fender Player Plus is a little bit thicker than the classic Vibe. So if you're looking for a Strat that's well made with a neck on the thinner side, and you don't mind the gloss on the back of the neck, the classic Vibe might be your preference. If you're looking for something a little bit thicker with a matte finish, then certainly the Player Series is better and more comfortable. Yeah, but the pickups, the Alnico pickups on the guitar sound fine. It's a comfortable sound playing guitar. It's well made. Yeah, and so far I don't have any complaints on the Plus Top, John. Symphonic Chrome. Hey, good morning. Long Island guy here. Welcome. Long Island. It's cold. That's all I could tell you. I'm in the 20s today here. I'm sure you're experiencing the same thing. What do we got here? Stan again. Thanks for joining. It's a beautiful yellow-black guitar. I might replace the pickups. Okay. I know the one you're talking about, the SG. It's kind of like racing stripes, I think, yellow and black, right? If I'm not mistaken. But and it's sort of like the offset, almost like the ESP-ish shape to the SG. But yeah, they I'm sure it's a killer guitar, right? There are a lot of great reviews on YouTube with people that love the West Creeks. So enjoy it, Stan. Hey, Alan. The AFS are full hollows. Okay, gotcha. So the AFs are full hollows. They're not semi-hollow bodies. So they're more like the Gretsch line of hollow bodies that they have, I guess. All right, didn't know that. Justice Tour, JP, you're saying, is the distributor. I guess Best Buy sells their guitars. I got to look into them. So again, I don't know anything about that. I don't remember seeing those guitars. Squire, Epiphone, Yamaha Electric, $60 to $70. Martin Acoustic, $75 to $80. I wouldn't go anywhere near that. That to me sounds like a scam. I will look into it, but from what you're describing to me, those prices, they have a couple of these websites that are out there that just sell Fender Mexican guitars for $100 and things like that, and you can't get through to them. And if you do place an order, you don't get your money back. It's a nightmare getting a refund. There's no way to contact the company. That I would stay. JP smells real bad to me, and I would stay far as you can from getting involved with that at those prices. Just don't make sense. And when it doesn't make sense, it's usually not true, as Judge Judy says, right? But yeah. So what else do we have to talk about here, guys? One of the things I wanted to mention is YouTubers and some of the YouTubers that I think are interesting, right? My go-to list. And again, this isn't always an interesting topic, but a couple of people in the comments in the past have mentioned various names, and I've got a list that I use from a go-to, as I mentioned, standpoint for channels. And I'll just mention a couple of them. Maybe you've got the same interests or not. But Rick Beato, he's a guy, right? Been around a while. Was a music producer. Performed in a band. Tried to make it, but unfortunately, his band didn't get that far. But he made a nice career of production. He's got a nice home studio, and he's got a great channel that mostly, talks about music from a theory standpoint. The guy is brilliant in terms of his knowledge, his acumen around music. And he talks about, what goes into songs, what makes songs great, and then he'll break them down. Those videos are very entertaining. But lately, he's done a bunch of interviews with, well-known musicians, right? Sting, for example, right? There's a whole host of people. The hotshot guitarist that's out there, Mancuso, I think is his last name, right? An Italian guy. That's brilliant. He just did an interview with him. Sting's guitar player, and I forget the guy's name. He interviewed him. He's done a whole host of really, really interesting interviews with prominent musicians, and he does a really, really good job. He's just a great interviewer. He's got a great knack for asking the right questions, and I really enjoy Beato's not only his intelligence around music and how he breaks down certain songs, but also how he goes about interviewing people and asking them the right questions, and just a really, really enjoyable experience. What does it say, Rob? Rick Beato is you and my age. Yeah, he's a little younger than me, Rob. But yeah, you're right. He's right around there. Beato has done so many huge interviews. Metheny, that's right. I couldn't remember. My old brain is bad. Pat Metheny, Andy Summers, Brian May. Right. He's done a bunch. He gets the top-notch people to come to his studio to talk to him, which is beautiful. He also did Joe Bonamassa recently. Did a great job with him. Yeah, Beato's the man. Donnie, how you doing, man? Yeah, I know you're one of the originals here. You've been watching the channel for 4 years. Love it. That's great. We love having you, Donnie. Thank you for joining. So Rick Beato's one. Another guy that I like, Know Your Gear, right? Know Your Gear Phil McKnight. He probably little less than me, maybe. Doesn't butcher names as much as I do, but he's almost right there. I'm just kidding, Phil. Hopefully you're not watching this. But in any event, Phil is a great guy. He's lovable. He's honest. He's knowledgeable. And he's the type of guy that, you want to have as your friend. He really is. He's a good guy. He's a bright guy. And he started out, again, a guy repairing guitars, had his own guitar store, sold and repaired instruments. I think he's mostly doing repairs now. He shut down that business, is now a full-time YouTuber. But Phil is great for gear info, right? He's so damn knowledgeable of guitars and basses that you really trust when he talks about a certain instrument. He doesn't oversell it, but he's very honest and very knowledgeable about what he's talking about. Great tips on how to maintain instruments and how to tune instruments and modify them, and has tutorial videos showing you how to do things. Handy advice. Just really, really great channel. Know Your Gear. I really, really enjoy that one. Richie Castellano. I don't know if you know that name. He's a Staten Islander. Richie's a great musician, great guitar player, great bass player. Had a small part of his time was with his own band, and most recently has been touring with Blue Oyster Cult, I guess, for the last 10 years or maybe a little bit longer than that. Richie's an unbelievable guitar player. I mean, the guy is just phenomenal. And he's got this group of people that he plays with. Phil, what's his last name? I was going to say Castellano. He's got a cousin, Graziano, Phil, guitar player. He's got a drummer, Andy. Oh boy, I forget Andy's last name. Plays with Utopia and a bunch of other known bands. But the group of people that Richie lines up and gets together and calls band geeks, they do covers of songs that are just off the charts. I mean, there is good. It sounds like you're listening to a record, and they're doing this stuff in the studio or sometimes even live. But really entertaining channel, Band Geeks. He does great demos of instruments, gear talks, breaks down what he does on the road when he performs with Blue Oyster Cult, and just an entertaining channel. I love watching that Richie Castellano Band Geeks channel. And it's spelt Castellano, Richie. Just look up who's playing alongside of Buck Dahmer and Blue Oyster Cult, and that's Richie Castellano. He's the guitar player. He's got his own channel. Really great channel. What do we got here? Symphonic Chrome. Joe, I saved up for a long time. Finally got a Fender custom shop. Wow, Ingwe with scalloped frets. So if you play anywhere near as Mr. Malmsteen, you're in great shape. Way out of my pay grade. So easy to play. Do you have any experience? I wish I could play a normal fretted guitar properly, let alone a scalloped, my man. But no, I don't have any experience. But from what I understand, they're fast. You don't have to dig like you do on a normal guitar. From a bending string standpoint, you might have to apply more pressure, I would think, right? Intuitively, because you have that gap there where the fretboard is dug out. But I think once you're used to it and you have experience with it, it's great. I mean, look at Blackmore, right? He's another one, Richie Blackmore. He's played scalloped fretboards in the past. I don't know what he's doing now. There are a number of guitar players that have, partial scalloping going on. Not to the point maybe where Ingve has, where pretty much all his fretboard is like that. But yeah, it's crazy stuff. JP, for lessons, Marty Music and John McLennan are about my speed. Yeah, I go to Marty often, JP, to figure out how to, play certain things. James, I'm not familiar with. It was great, but negativity drove him off YouTube. Oh yeah, I know that. I know that shtick. Okay, so you apply less pressure. Okay, see again, I said intuitively, but my intuition is probably off. So you're saying with a scalloped fretboard, you don't apply as much pressure as you would on a conventional fretboard. Interesting. Okay, yeah, interesting. Sean S. Nice man. I've always wanted to try a scalloped fretboard, and Ingve is awesome. Yeah, I love Ingve Malmsteen, man. I really do. I have a ton of his solo albums. I first came across him when Graham Bonnet was the lead singer, and what's that band that Malmsteen started in? I believe with an A. And again, I apologize, but my old brain is slow these days. Um, Yngwie Malmsteen's first band wasn't this band. It was another band that he played in for only a short time, and then he went into this other band with Graham Bonnet. Um, okay, Sean asks if only I could play like Yngwie. I compose orchestral music and play lead guitar lines over it. Yeah, no, Yngwie is a true phenomenon, right? Um, I'm still trying to think of Yngwie's band that I'm thinking of that I absolutely love with Graham Bonnet. But in fact, let me do this while you're waiting. It's just bothering me, right? Alcatraz. Okay, I had to get it. Alcatraz. Yeah, I had the first Alcatraz album. I loved. Great stuff, right? Steve Vai was in Alcatraz after, I think, Yngwie. Interesting band. But let's see what else. Okay, the other channel that I really like is Norman's Rare Guitars. Norm Harris has a store out in Tarzana, I believe, California. He's had the store since like the mid '70s, and it is a vintage guitar shop. Right, he gets all vintage gear and also conventional gear as well, not just vintage gear, but he has some really high end vintage stuff in there. Old Martins, old Fenders and Gibsons, Epiphones, you name it, Taylors. That the rock stars come in and they just, they all know this place, right? It's a staple in that neck of the woods. So if they're looking for a certain model guitar, they go to Norm's, and he's more than likely to have it. Joe Bonamassa, he refers to affectionately as his nephew. Bonamassa's always in there. Tom Petty used to visit the store all the time, and he's just a wonderful guy. Norm Harris, a really nice man, very bright guy. Also, a very accomplished keyboard player. Played a Hammond organ. Was in a band for a number of years with some well-known folks out on the West Coast. Really like him. Oh, JP, Norm's birthday was yesterday. Yeah, wish him a happy birthday. I know he's had some health challenges of recent times, and he looks wonderful. So hopefully he's got many healthy and happy years ahead of him. Really like the guy, and his channel is great. And he's got on his channel a lot of unknown folks that happen to come across his shop and are playing, and he'll ask them to put together a couple of songs on his channel live. And so you're always seeing new musicians and new acts playing on his channel, as well as some well-known folks. I just like the channel. I find it very entertaining. Really good guy. Yeah, no, he's not a budget guitar guy, Rob. Again, he's way out of my pay grade, but interesting nonetheless. Yeah, Tom Petty, good music. Right, Michael? Absolutely agree. Really was a great pop song musician and crafter of really catchy music, Petty, and he left us too soon. Tim Pierce. A lot of people may not know him. Pierce. And Tim is a studio musician. Tim is and I believe he's out in the West Coast as well. And he's played with a ton of artists, Tim Pierce. Odds are you probably have stuff that you listen to in your collection where Tim has played lead guitar, right? He's just a phenomenal musician. Really good guy, very knowledgeable. And his channel, he gives tips all the time. He's got master classes if you want to subscribe. All sorts of tutorials, just a wealth of knowledge and skill. And he's got a nice arsenal of gear that he'll show you at any time and play on. So I really enjoy Tim Pierce's channel as well. And the last one I'm going to go over, I don't want to go into this too much, is Steve from Boston, formerly known as Pixie Licks. Steve has a lot of interesting videos. and does one of the best jobs that I've seen on YouTube in terms of thoroughly demoing new gear. Right, he's done a bunch for Donner. He's done a bunch for other manufacturers, and he does a really, really good job of demoing things. And he's got great live shows. They're very entertaining. Steve is a pretty sharp guy, a bright cookie out of New England, and he gets involved and talks about issues that Guitar Center, for example, had financially, and when Fender was going through some challenges during COVID. He is a very, very insightful, bright guy that gives his take on a lot of things. That's usually spot on, by the way. And he's a very good guitar player, right? He does a lot of the metal type playing, right, which is not necessarily my forte. But Steve from Boston's is an interesting and entertaining channel as well. So that's my take, for whatever it's worth. Symphonochrome, Joe, you need a setup like Tim's with the gear surrounding you. Yeah. First, I need to learn how to play probably 1/1,000,000th as well as Tim. And then that's a good start, and I can load up on the gear. I think the gear I have right now is way beyond my capabilities. But you know what? That's what this channel is all about, right? There are probably people on here that are very, very accomplished musicians, right? That have been playing for years, maybe have played out at one time, even recorded, whatever the case is. I'm certainly not one of them. I'm a guy that's always been into music, right? I've always loved music, right? As you can probably tell, I'm in my 60s. So I grew up in the late 60s I grew up in the 60s, but when I started getting into music, it was the late 60s. So it was the Abbey Road period of the Beatles. And I always loved the Beatles, even early Beatles. But when I really could appreciate what was going on, it was probably Sgt. Pepper's, let's say, on, right? Big Beatle fan. And always loved pop and music that was well crafted, written intelligently. So some of the pop writers that I always gravitated to were Todd Rundgren. I have a huge catalog of Todd Rundgren's, both his solo stuff and Utopia. Billy Joel. I have pretty much everything Billy Joel has ever written, and really enjoyed his catalog of music. James Taylor. So I've always gravitated towards singer-songwriters. That was just my personal interests. And then later on, I went through a fusion stage, right? Jazz fusion stage, where Billy Cobham, John McLaughlin, Tony Williams' Lifetime, Alan Holdsworth. I was really getting into that, crazy intense Chick Corea's, band of fusion rock, right? Then I gravitated for a time and went more towards prog, and I'm still there to some extent. Marillion, right? Neil Morse, Spock Speared, Genesis, Gentle Giant, you name it. A whole bunch, Nectar, a whole bunch of different types of prog bands that I listen to. So very eclectic, right? My music collection has a bunch of jazz, a bunch of fusion, a bunch of blues rock, a lot of instrumental guitar playing. I love, Steve Vai's instrumental period. I like Scott Henderson's jazzy instrumental period. Jeff Beck is one of my favorites. So it's a wide variety of stuff that I like. Now, you would think, based on the proficiency of the people that I listen to, that I might have become somewhat proficient in my guitar playing. But unfortunately, I have the ear for a lot of these geniuses, but in reality, not there. Not there from a playing, but I enjoy it. And that's what this channel is about. You got to have fun with your instrument. You got to have a passion. You got to enjoy. I look forward sometimes to buying gear more than I do playing it, which is kind of stupid, right? It's like the thrill of the hunt is what gets me excited. And then once I get something, I'm like, what's the next thing? Right. Which is stupid. And I'm slowing down now because I'm just burning myself out. Right. In that respect. Um, I love the Line 6 Catalyst, Bruce. Yeah. For me, because it's stupid simple. Right. It doesn't have a lot of buttons on it. I know I didn't do a full demo of it. I bought it, showed it, and that was kind of it. And it's because I'm embarrassed to be honest with you. It's got a heck of a lot more ability in it than I can certainly ever use. But what I do like about it is it's got, 6 simple amplifier settings. It doesn't have a boatload of effects, right? Your basic reverb, your basic modulation, tremolo, phase, chorus, and that's more than I need. Right? There's some stuff out the Boss Katana, for example, and some of these other amps that have you can get into hundreds of different settings, way more than I'll ever need. So I like the Catalyst with respect to its clean sound. I think is great. It's got a nice, great built-in 12-inch speaker. It's simple to use. It's built like a brick crap house, and so far no complaints, Bruce. All about the chase too often, Rob. Yeah, that's it. Mark is saying Todd Rundgren trivia. He played lead on Meatloaf's Paradise, but yeah, he did. Paradise by the Dashboard Light, and Bat Out of Hell. The guitar solo was all Todd, right? And crazy, good guitar playing all throughout that album, Bat Out of Hell from Todd. And also the structure of the background vocals and all the harmonies were largely Todd Rundgren's work on Bat Out of Hell, right? Jim Steinman was a huge Todd Rundgren fan. So yeah, that's a great one. Good album. Sounds like me in my Katana more than I really need. Yep. Catalyst is killer. Jimmy Z. Jimmy Z, how you doing, my friend? Great to see you here. Catalyst is killer. I have one. The amp will do everything, including good, simple clean. Yeah, I really love the cleans that I can get out of it. If you want to do any effects processor. Yeah, and supposedly, Jimmy, it handles pedals well, which, again, the only pedal I have, and my son gave it to me, is the Rat, which I demoed poorly a while ago. But yeah, it's fine with putting it on a clean setting and putting a distortion box into the amp. So yeah, I think in that respect it's fine. Michael P. Fender LT25, pretty happy. I had the Fender LT25 at one point, again, in my gear frenzy of in and out. And yeah, well-made amp, simple to use, nice sounds. Man, this stupid AI thing is driving me freaking nuts. I'm going to have to fix that at some point on this camera. Either that or doing something here that's causing it to go in and out. But I know it must be disruptive and annoying for you guys, so I apologize. But this is technology at its worst, right? I got a webcam here that has AI built into it that some genius decided it's great to constantly go in and out and center you and focus you and whatever. And I'm about ready to throw the thing out. Does handle them well. Jimmy Z saying in terms of effects, plugs in, it rocked with ease. Edward is saying, have you tried Firefly? Yeah, I have, Edward. Not a lot of them. I've only had a few. And my experience is mixed, okay? The few that I had, and they were both semi-hollows, is that bang for your buck was good. Decent quality instruments for the amount of money spent. Very fast shipment. Negatives were the pickups in both the cases that I bought these semi-hollow guitars that I had. And this was about 2 years ago. Might have changed now. With extremely microphonic pickups. That was my only complaint with the Firefly. And one of them had, very poor fret ends. That was sharp. Very sharp. But other than that, nice woods, nice looking guitars, a nice feeling neck. So I really, didn't have many complaints, but that was it. The microphonic pickups and the fret ends. That, at least in the case that I had. I'm reading great things about them. Their prices are great. They have a whole new line out. I went to their website a couple of days ago and took a look at some of their new Tele model guitars, and they look with the cutaways on the back and the belly cuts. They look off the charts. So I think Firefly is probably doing wonderful things. It's just that I haven't given them enough fair press. What else, Jimmy? Nothing will ever come close to my Fender Mustang GTX 50, though. It does literally everything. Killer smooth high gain, which is mainly what I do. Yep, I've read nothing but positive things about the GTX 50. And Fender, they make great amps. They really do. They're built well. They sound great. They're easy to use. Rob is saying so many Firefly models out there have managed to resist until last week. Uh-oh. So they got you, Rob, huh? So let me know in the comments what you think when you get the guitar. I'm curious. Mark, Average Joe, my Guild OEM 240. There you go. The 240 CE arrived in great shape Tuesday. Thanks for the tip. No, you got a great deal. You got a better deal than me. You don't need my tips. From what I read there, man, you got a smoking deal on that guitar. And I love mine. I'm really happy with my Guild OM 240 CE. I think it's made well. It sounds great. It's fun to play. It feels good playing. It looks nice. Yeah, no complaints. Really, no complaints. Let me see something here for 1 second. Okay. Maybe that'll do it. I just made an adjustment on my camera, and I'm hoping this works, because that going in and out was driving me nuts. I mean, I'm nuts already, but it was causing me to be even nuttier, if you could imagine. So hopefully this will be better. Now, what else? I saw some reviews, Michael, about being microphonic. Yeah, for the Firefly. Yeah, that was my experience, at least. Jimmy, I wish I'd gotten the GTX in fall 22 at Pro Audio Store. No. Yes, I remember, Rob, when they were blowing those things out, and I was tempted as well, but I missed the boat on that one too back then. Yeah, Pro Audio Star was really having some crazy sales. That was around the time, if I'm not mistaken, that they were blowing out the classic vibes as well. I think IYVs. I shouldn't say Ivy. Last time I said Ivy in one of my videos, the guy corrected me and said, it's IYV. And I knew it was. It's just that I have such a habit of calling them Ivy because for the longest time, Amazon listed everything as Ivies, even though it was IYV. They make great guitars, by the way. They even have, according to Ball Shredder, who has another channel, he's bought a lot of custom shop guitars from IYV that he claims are fantastic values. So I can't tell you, I don't have any personal experience, but they are a bit better. Just got a Les Paul. Yeah, and in fact, Michael, the green Les Paul IYV guitars for a while, they were blowing these things out on eBay for like $70 or $80. I had bought one, and they're great guitars. Lightweight, well-made, great sounding stock pickups. IYV is a good company. I mean, Indian Vina, Vietnamese-based company, right? Those CNC Destiny wound pickups that are part of the guitars are used by a lot of big companies. I mean, Harley Benton produces their guitars, or did for a while, out of the same factory in Vietnam, right? Wolf Guitars, which makes some really smoking Les Paul style copy guitars and other classic guitar shapes. They used the Destiny wound pickups. So IYV really makes great stuff for very reasonable prices. Now, if you don't get them in Amazon and you're forced to buy them elsewhere, you're going to get nailed with shipping costs sometimes, and that'll be prohibitive. But Amazon, with free shipping, some of the deals on their guitars, the IYV guitars, are crazy good, especially the semi-hollows. They're great guitars. Yeah, you feel like you stole it. Right, exactly. You had to take a shower after you bought that one, I bet. Any big plans for 2024 in your guitar goals? Yeah, my big plans are to thin the herd that I have already, which is extremely thin. No, I don't have any. I'm at a point now, Michael, where I think what I have is more than sufficient for my playing abilities, and that it just boils down to if I was able to be independently wealthy and just buy stuff because I'm curious and then review my experience with my curiosity to see is this good or bad, I would be doing that all day long because I love doing that. But unfortunately, my funds don't allow me to do that, and the space in my home is limited. So I have, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 8 guitars, and that's more than enough at this point. So I'm slowing down my buying, but I'm going to continue to do reviews. So just keep that in mind. We'll figure out how that'll work. Michael P. Yeah, mine is green. Got it out of the new box from a guy selling it on Facebook in Pittsburgh for $110. It's another good deal. Stan just bought a Firefly GT01, excellent guitar, well worth the money. Have a Gill D40. I bought D40s are beautiful. Still my best acoustic. Yeah, it's probably gives Martin a run for its money, right? The GT01 Firefly, is that I'm not sure if that's the Telecaster shape Firefly. I'm not sure. Or is that an acoustic? Because I know Firefly now has an acoustic line. Jimmy Z, it's funny about the Fender amps. I had a G-Deck. Yeah, the old original digital amps from Fender back in the day. Great learning tool, great sound, somewhat processed, right? Then I hated the first few Mustang variants. Yeah, the G-Decks were supposedly great amps. I never had one, but I've read nothing but positive things on forums about those amps. Michael P, Jimmy Z, GTX 50 and 100 are great, crazy good. Yeah, I know, Jimmy. I know you're a big advocate, and I agree 100%. Probably one of the best bangs for the buck. Sean, I have not tried any DIY guitar kits, mostly because I'm not handy, right? I'll get that out on the line right now. And my wife will be the first to tell you that I'm not handy, right? When things break, the furthest I go in terms of being handy is understanding how to read a book, a Yellow Pages, and figuring out who's the closest person with those skills to me for me to call to get something repaired. Because I'm not skilled, and when I try to do something, I'll create more problems than rectifying the initial issue in the first place. So with DIY kits, it probably would not be a good end result, right? It wouldn't be a good outcome. Let me just leave it at that. So I wish I'd been very tempted to buy DIY type deals because they look like they're great values. It's just that even screwing stuff is a challenge at times. So no, I haven't. Rob, something I admire a lot about you. You can buy them and you can get rid of them. I have problems with that, with the latter. Yeah, no, I know a lot of people that do. I have a buddy of mine, Rob, that everything he buys, he keeps. And now he's at, I think, 165 guitars or something like that. And he's got a big house, so it's okay. He's able to do it. I'm not. But yeah, I'm forced to have to part with things if I want to continue to buy things. But it's slowing down. It's 2024 is going to be a bit of a different year. Stan, cutaway acoustic. That's what that is. Okay, so the Firefly GT01 is a cutaway acoustic. Gotcha. Okay. You love kits, Jimmy? Love tinkering and modding? Yeah, I wish I had your skills and your enthusiasm around that, because I'd be doing the same thing. Love building Frankensteins. Patience becoming my patience is becoming limited as well as I get older, and because of the ineptitude that I have, or the lack of skills that I have around fixing and doing things in a positive way rather than destroy. I'm great at destroying shit. I mean, I'm really good at that. If it's up to demolition and breaking stuff, trashing things, then that's, I'm the man. I mean, I can help anybody with that. But anything constructive that results in a positive outcome or experience is not my game, unfortunately. What else? Trying to think. Did I miss anything else? It's approaching an hour, which is where I'm going to have to cut off at this point. But any other thoughts, guys, that you'd like to discuss? Ideas about maybe the next live chat that we have in terms of topics that you want to discuss? I'm all ears, literally. So, and guys, listen, I really appreciate the support. That's something I don't say enough that you guys have offered me and given me. The fact that I've got even the amount of views that I have on this channel and subscribers, to me, is mind-boggling. My wife is always telling me, who do you have that tunes into your channels? Why would anybody want to watch your videos? She thinks they're extremely boring. The content isn't something that's worthy of discussing. I shouldn't say that. But she's miffed, and she's kind of tickled that I have the amount of subscribers that I do. So I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel, having an interest. And again, as I always say, man, I look forward to the comments because I'm constantly learning from you as to about deals, about things that I'm saying that may not be right, about a lot of stuff. So it's great to hear, and it's something that I really look forward to. I can do just about anything around the guitar, Jimmy. Love building them, tearing them down, and building parts. Yeah, see, the tearing down part is great for me, Jim. I can get into that. It's the building up and repairing and fixing that are the challenges for me. Michael P, all the best for 20. I appreciate guys like you. Get it? I guess not. It's a guy thing. Yeah, it is a guy thing to some extent, Michael. I agree. Donnie, it's been great, Joe. Take care, brother. Thank you, Donnie, for joining. Again, I really appreciate you for tuning in. Symphonochrome. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Keep it going. One day you will get 10. Yeah, it'll be a day. That's for sure. I don't know when or I'll ever see it, but hopefully that's the case. Michael, I'm sure there aren't many gal guitar hoarders. Yeah, no, there are a couple out there I've seen on YouTube, but not many, Michael, not many. To see a vid on that Catalyst, different sounds you were getting. I'll try, Jimmy, if I don't butcher it too much. But yeah, maybe that'll be something that I can work on. I already have it, so that would be a good thing. Hey, wait. Hit your head, AJ? What's that, Rob? Michael P, they do shoes and handbags. Oh, you guys are the best, I tell you. Oh, man. The wounds on my head. Yeah. You know what? You see this? So I'm constantly doing this, right? And I get irritations and causes me to scratch, and that's what's going on. Yeah, I got scratches all over the freaking place on my dome. No hair to hide it, so they become very visible, unfortunately. I'd like to say it was a more interesting story, like, I got into a scuffle and I beat the hell out of somebody, and this is the worst of it. But yeah, that wasn't the case. I chronic scratcher. Shoes and handbags, Jimmy. Yeah. Shoes and handbags. But that's what they hoard. Yeah. But anyway, guys, listen, I hope you all have a good week coming up. Wherever you are, whatever neck of the woods you're in, hopefully the weather isn't too bad. And you guys have a good time, again, whatever you engage in. And we'll take it from there. Okay? So, guys, listen, I got to run. You have a great day. And thanks for joining. And if you think these videos are something you want to see more of, let me know in the comments. If not, let me know in the comments. We'll take it from there, okay? Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon. Stay well.